People in the lobby turned when they heard the voice, small, trembling, yet carrying a determination that didn't match the size of the girl it belonged to. She stood on her tiptoes at the counter, clutching a faded pink backpack, looking up at a bank teller twice her height. The teller blinked in confusion, unsure if she'd heard correctly. "Just want to see my balance," the little girl said again, her voice soft but steady, as if she had practiced the line all morning. A man a few feet behind her laughed, not a cruel laugh, but the quick, careless chuckle of someone who thought they understood the situation before they really did. He was tall, sharply dressed, and carried the kind of presence that made people step aside without realizing they had. His name was Grant Holloway, one of the city's most successful real estate investors, a millionaire who didn't wait in lines unless it amused him. And today, for whatever reason, it did. He watched her with a raised brow, arms crossed, that amused smirk still lingering. "What's she doing here with a bank card?" he whispered to a man beside him, though he didn't expect an answer. The girl ignored the eyes on her. She adjusted the glasses slipping down her nose and slid a wrinkled debit card across the counter. Her fingers hesitated before she let go, as if the card carried the last of something important. The teller leaned closer. "Sweetheart, is this your account?" She nodded. "Yes, ma'am." "Do your parents know you're here?" For the first time, hesitation flickered in the girl's eyes. "My mom's at work. She couldn't come." Grant shifted, something small tugging at his attention, though he couldn't explain why. The teller glanced at the long line, then back at the girl. "And you want to check the balance?" "Yes, please." People behind Grant muttered complaints about the delay. A few shook their heads. One woman sighed dramatically. But the girl didn't turn around. She kept her eyes on the counter like she was afraid to blink too long. Grant studied her more closely now. She couldn't have been older than 8 or 9. Her braids were tied with mismatched beads that clinked when she moved. Her shoes were worn on the edges, one lace knotted 3 times over like it had broken weeks ago. She looked tired, not the sleepy kind of tired, but the kind kids shouldn't know. The teller typed in the account number and waited for the screen to load. The girl's hands tightened on the strap of her backpack. "I need to know, so I can get something for my mom today. Something important." Grant's amusement faded a little. He shifted his weight and tried not to look too interested, but his eyes kept drifting back to her. "What's the occasion?" the teller asked gently. The girl looked down at her shoes. "Today's her birthday." A few people in line softened, though no one said anything. The room felt quieter somehow, as if the air was waiting for something. "That's so," the teller murmured. "And you want to buy her a gift?" "Not a gift," the girl whispered. "Medicine." Grant's arms fell from their crossed position. The small tug he had felt earlier now pulled harder, rooting him to the floor. The teller's fingers paused over the keyboard, her expression changing completely. "Medicine?" The girl nodded. "She's been sick for a while. She keeps saying she's fine, but she can't breathe good at night. I tried saving. I did chores around the building. I sold lemonade last summer. And my teacher gave me $5 for helping her clean the classroom. So I want to see how much I have now, so I can go buy the medicine myself." Grant swallowed hard. He looked at the girl again, but this time he didn't see the cheap backpack or the worn shoes. He saw a child carrying the kind of weight adults struggle to hold. The teller cleared her throat and turned the monitor slightly away so the rest of the line wouldn't see. But Grant caught a flicker of something on the screen, something that made his breath hitch for a moment. The teller gently said, "Honey, the balance is very low." The girl's lips pressed together, but she didn't cry. She just nodded, like she had expected disappointment but hoped she was wrong. "How much is it?" she asked softly. "Honey," the teller whispered, "it's only $4.27. The lobby went silent. The girl's shoulders sagged just slightly. Not enough to draw pity, but enough to show how heavy the truth landed on her. She nodded again, steadying herself. Okay. Thank you. She reached for the card, but her hand shook. Grant exhaled slowly, the sound catching in his chest. Something hot, familiar in a way he had avoided for years, twisted deep inside him. Regret. Memory. A sting he thought he outgrew. The girl tucked the card away and turned toward the exit. But halfway there, her steps faltered. She stopped, staring at the automatic doors, her small frame trembling as if the weight of the moment finally cracked her brave mask. Grant took a step before he even realized he had moved. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her story. But something in the way she stood, alone, hurting, yet refusing to break, hit him with the force of a memory he tried to bury long ago. And for the first time that day, his laughter was gone. "Hey," he said quietly, his voice sounding unfamiliar even to himself. The girl turned, wiping her cheek quickly with her sleeve though no tear had managed to fall. Grant stepped closer, unsure what he was supposed to say, only knowing he couldn't watch her walk out like that. "Wait a second," he murmured. "What kind of medicine does your mom need?" She clutched her backpack tighter and looked at him with wide, cautious eyes. And that was how their worlds collided, one built on money and power, the other on hope and heartbreak, both about to change in ways neither could have predicted. The girl hesitated, her small fingers curling around the frayed strap of her backpack. She looked at Grant as though trying to understand why a stranger, especially one dressed like that, would care. "I don't know the name," she finally said. "But it's for her breathing. The one the doctor said she needed, but Mom said it cost too much. She keeps saying she'll be fine, but she isn't." Her voice cracked on the last word, so quietly most people would have missed it. Grant didn't. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Amara." Something in his chest tugged again. A name full of strength for a girl who carried too much of it alone. "Well, Amara," he said, lowering his voice, "would you mind if I helped?" She shifted her weight, uncertainty flashing across her face. "But, you don't know me." He nodded. "You're right. I don't. But I know what it feels like to need help and not have anyone to ask." Those words slipped out before he realized they were memory speaking, not logic. Memories of a childhood he had locked behind success, wealth, and the careful armor he had built to forget where he started. Amara lifted her chin. "I'm not supposed to talk to strangers." "That's smart," Grant replied. "How about we walk back to the teller together and ask her to help us figure this out? She won't let anything bad happen." Amara considered this, then gave a small nod. Not trust, just the beginning of it. They returned to the counter. The teller looked surprised but relieved to see the girl wasn't walking out alone. "Yes?" she asked gently. Grant leaned in. "Can you tell me what medication might be prescribed for severe breathing trouble? Something expensive that insurance might not cover fully." The teller hesitated. "I can't share patient information." "Not a patient," Grant said. "Just general ideas." She studied him for a moment, recognizing him now, maybe from the news, maybe from a billboard downtown, and her caution softened. "An inhaler. Possibly steroids. If it's chronic, maybe something stronger. None of it is cheap without good coverage." Amara lowered her head. Grant thanked the teller and guided Amara a few feet away from the line so no one would stare. "Where's your mom right now?" "Working," she whispered. "She cleans rooms at Jefferson Manor Hotel. She can't take a day off or she won't get paid." Grant blinked. He knew that hotel well, he had bought it 2 years ago. "Do you walk there after school?" he asked. Amara nodded. "I go there every day. I do homework in the staff break room until she's done." Grant wished he hadn't asked, because the next question rose inside him like a truth he couldn't ignore. "Amara, is your mom the only person taking care of you?" Just her, she said. It's always been just us. Grant let out a slow breath. The pieces aligned painfully well. All right, he said softly. Let's go see her. Amara's eyes widened. Now. Right now. But she'll get worried if I'm not home. Then we'll tell her together, Grant said. I won't let her be scared. He didn't know why he said it so firmly. Maybe because someone once promised him safety and never delivered. Maybe because he wished someone had helped his own mother before it was too late. Outside, the cold air made Amara hug her backpack close. Grant called his driver, but she tugged his sleeve. We can walk, she said. It's only 11 blocks. He looked down at her small shoes, one lace barely holding on. You walk that every day? She nodded like it was nothing. Grant said nothing, but inside something cracked deeper. They walked slowly, Amara a few steps ahead as if she didn't want to be a burden. Cars hissed by, people rushed past, and buildings towered over them. Grant kept his pace steady, making sure she never felt chased or hurried. Midway through the walk, she spoke without looking up. You don't have to buy the medicine. He frowned. Why not? Because, if I can't afford it, then maybe Mom's right. Maybe she'll get better on her own. Grant knelt down right there on the sidewalk, forcing himself to look into her fearful, hopeful eyes. Amara, he said, your mom is sick. That doesn't mean she's weak, and it doesn't mean she's going to give up. But she needs help. Everyone needs help sometimes. Her lip trembled. She works so hard. She stays up all night coughing but still goes to work. I don't want her to think she's failing. She isn't failing, Grant whispered. She's surviving. And you're helping her the best way you know how. But now it's my turn. They continued walking, and soon the hotel came into view. The tall beige building stood exactly as Grant remembered, only this time he noticed details he never had before. The staff entrance light flickering. The cracked pavement. The weary pace of employees coming and going. Inside, the break room smelled faintly of detergent and old coffee. A woman with tired eyes and warm brown skin looked up from wiping a table. When she saw her daughter, her face lit up, and then immediately filled with worry. Amara? Baby, why aren't you home yet? I told you. She's fine, Grant said gently. I brought her. The woman straightened, alarmed. Who are you? Grant opened his mouth, but Amara spoke first. Mom. I tried to buy the medicine, she whispered. But I don't have enough money. Her mother's shoulders sagged as though the truth physically weighed on her. Oh, sweetheart. You shouldn't worry about that. I told you we'll be okay. But we're not, Amara said, tears finally escaping. You can't breathe at night. And I only have $4.27. Her mother rushed forward, pulling her into a tight hug. Baby, listen to me. I'm not going anywhere. I promise. The promise wavered in her voice. Grant stepped closer. Ma'am, forgive the intrusion. But I want to help. The woman looked at him, really looked. Sir, with respect, we don't accept charity. This isn't charity, Grant said quietly. This is me fixing something I should have noticed long ago. She frowned. What do you mean? Grant swallowed. His throat felt tighter than he expected. I own this hotel, he said. I've walked these halls 100 times, and I never stop to see the people who keep it running. That's on me. And today, your daughter reminded me what I've been ignoring. Silence filled the room. Amara stared up at him. Her mother stared even harder. Grant continued, I'm covering the cost of your medication, today and every refill after. I'm also giving you full medical coverage through the company. And starting tomorrow, you're getting a raise. Her mother gasped, covering her mouth. Sir, why would you do all that? Grant looked at Amara, the little girl who had walked 11 blocks and stood alone in a bank line just to save her mother. Because she asked to see her balance, he said softly. And she didn't mean money. She meant what she had left to hold her family together. Amara's mother began to cry, not quietly, but in the way someone cries when the world finally stops pressing down on them. Amara reached for her hand, and Grant felt something shift inside him too, something he hadn't felt in years. A second chance. Outside, the city kept moving. Cars honked, people rushed, life continued with its usual noise. But in that small break room, peace settled like a warm blanket. Amara looked up at Grant, her voice barely above a whisper. Thank you. Grant smiled, genuinely, fully, without the armor he usually wore. You're welcome, he said. And from now on, you don't walk those 11 blocks alone.